Welcome to Viben Gold, a collection of guided meditations put into podcast form for your easy listening. My name is Vivian Gerard, and I will be walking with you through the intoxicating now moments of life here on this planet. These audios are intended to be used as a full meditation if you want to close your eyes, settle down into a comfy spot, and let your subconscious come all the way forward. Or it can simply be some background conversation where the nuggets of information that you most need will make their way into your awareness. Whichever way it works for you, I invite you to open up and enjoy fully this journey of life that we are all taking together. So much love to you. All right, good morning and welcome to Soul Shine. We are sitting today in community in a beautiful home at the edge of Lake Michigan, and we will see if the technology supports the recording of this call or not, but hopefully you can hear me and all is well. I also want to claim that as a permission for the people who are in community here with me to have their own experience, and you may hear laughing or crying or coughing or whatever as we move energy, and that is the gift of being in communities, that we all do it together. So let's start with breath. Go ahead and let yourself land wherever you are in this moment. My suggestion for the work we'll be doing today is to be sitting upright. We'll be doing some chakra clearing. So I think it will be an easier flow of energy if you are vertical, so that you can follow it the way I'm going to guide you through it. Yeah, so notice your breath. Let yourself come into alignment with your own breathing, which may be faster or slower than mine. Feel like coming all the way in and filling your lungs up. Right? You may want to stretch your shoulders back and allow the breath to come all the way in. Feel it in a deeper breath than perhaps you have felt yet this morning or over the past week. It's been an intense week of energy with moons and suns and planets and lots of things shifting in different directions. So when we have that experience of being, bodies filled with water that are connected to the tides and the moon and astrology in such an elemental deep way, and things start to shift, we tend to catch our breath and do shallow breathing. And when that happens, we move up into the mind. So in this moment, as we prepare for an hour of quiet space for you to be with you, even if you're in community, for you to be with you, go ahead and slow down the pace of your breathing. And then when you breathe in, you can go in through your nose and then an exhale out through your mouth. And as you do that, if you slow down the exhale out, it's like a sigh, right? It's a releasing of breath that might have been trapped for a while, or a releasing of the pressure that has kept us up in our head, starting to allow us to come lower down into our physical body. So we'll do a couple together. So go ahead and breathe in and out through the mouth. Go ahead and do another one. So breathe in and out through the mouth. Good, good. And I don't know if you feel it like I do, but there is always a tangible shift in the community feeling. When breath is released, it's like I feel everyone dropping into their bodies and into their seats and, like settling. Like, when you get into a chair and you kind of wiggle your way in with your butt and you're like, yeah, this is my chair. And you kind of get yourself all comfy and cozy. Breath allows your energy to do that in your physical body. So as we go through the rest of the call, pay attention to your breath while we're navigating whatever is going to shift. Like, tune in, and if you find yourself in your mind and you're getting distracted or wanting to go run after a thought that wants to take you somewhere else, slow down your breathing. Picture yourself dropping into the body through a long, slow exhale out of your mouth. And so you learn to manage your own experience, your own breath, as we go through the meditation. All right. It's funny, I can feel how much more intense it is in a call when everyone's physically around. It's fun. Okay, let's drop into our seats and our bodies. So as I say that, I want you to imagine you become a magnetic pole that is you, right? The energy, the soul, the physical and spiritual being combined that makes up you. And what often happens is the physical body is here, some of the energy in the spiritual body is here, and then a lot of the other parts of you are out somewhere else, and they're navigating the world, and they're tracking relationships, and they're making sure work gets done and food gets cooked and people are where they need to be. So in this moment, if you can imagine, you just become magnetic. You're really still, and you just start to feel like your own power, right? It's you pulling yourself back into you. And it's always interesting to me, like when I check as I start this process, I'll just ask myself, am I 30% here, 60% here, 80% here? So allow yourself to kind of get a register, a quick number. Where am I? How much of me is fully present? And then allow yourself to increase that number by pulling, by calling back, by inviting home your own energy into your physical body. And it feels different to different people. So for me, it feels warm and cozy and also a little intense. You know, when my energy comes in, it's like it gets squished or it gets tight, right? For others, it might be a little anxious, right? Like, I don't like that feeling. I prefer when I'm tracking everyone. I don't like having my energy here because what if something happens to those people that I normally monitor? Well, we can work on that, right? Like, you can hook them up to their own supply of energy. You can hook them up to God or source or angels or whatever support can come in to hold them while you're putting your energy in you. Or you could just give them love, but bring your energy back in. Right? But it's an invitation to start exploring it. Because if your energy is always out and you're with those other people and things and activities, you're not fully in this moment here. And the greatest power, the greatest love, the greatest healing, the greatest alignment is always in you, in your moment, in your body. It is the strongest position from which to navigate. So you can play with how comfortable you are coming back into your own space, but think of what your original number was of where you started and see, can I go a little higher? Can I allow more of me to come back into me? The other thing that is validating when your power is in you is how clearly you can listen and hear those around you in community. You know, the best feeling is to be heard, right, or to be seen, to be witnessed, to have your heart be shared and know that someone received what you were communicating with them. This is why I love deep conversations so much more than surfacey ones. You know, when you can connect heart to heart or soul to soul with someone, it's so satisfying. It's so expansive for both people in the conversation. When your energy is in you, so for example, imagine in this moment you could be 80% fully present. in your body. And imagine you are across from someone who is also 80% in their body. The conversation can go deep fast, right? Because you're both present and listening and hearing and intuitively knowing what the person that you're in conversation with might need for support. Now imagine that the person across from you is at 30% presence. Yeah, it's like a drain, right? It's like an energy drain. It's their energy feels more scattered or more they're just tracking lots of other things, and so it's multitasking, right? It's like a form of multitasking energetically. And so it's a little riskier to be heard or seen when you know that person's attention isn't fully there. So the best gift you can give someone when you're in conversation or in business with them or engaging in just a walk on the beach, wherever you happen to be, presence it's such a gift, right? Because the person you are with feels heard. They feel witnessed. So see where you are in this moment as you pulled your energy back in. Has your number shifted to a higher number? Yep, and then let your energy settle in your body. If it's tight in your chest, run it all the way down to your feet. Or run it all the way out your arms to your fingers. All right, go ahead and just navigate your own energy space. Good, and then do one more pulling back in. So if you were at 80%, see if you can just bump that number to 90 or even 100 and just feel your energy coming all the way back into your body, filling every single cell up with you, like the gorgeousness, the beauty, the power that is you, your full, incredible soul in this human body, in this moment, in this lifetime. Run it down to your feet, feel yourself fill up, and then re-stabilize, rebalance. And then expand your lungs as you fill up with air, right? There you go. So you're a spiritual being, but you're also this human that can just breathe into it. Good. Oh my God, this room feels so juicy and awesome. All right, so go ahead and plant your feet on the floor. If you're sitting cross-legged, you can use your ankles as a way to hook in, or the soles of your feet. And then we're going to connect into the earth. So in this moment here, it's the most beautiful setting. We're at the top of this cliff with Lake Michigan, out in front of us, and you can hear the waves, and there are trees, and it's an easier way for me to visualize grounding because I can see, like, I'm up here and there's a long way down that the roots would go into the earth, and I can see or visualize how those roots would go down because I can look over the cliff and see the depth that we are above the water surface. So you can play with that yourself also, right, in this moment. What if as you hook in, as you feel your feet on the ground or the carpet or whatever surface it is, imagine you are also standing like in a space that has a clear height difference so that you can track as you root in or ground in. Go ahead and imagine that you hook from the bottoms of your feet through roots or through beams of light. You hook into Mama Earth. Yeah, and it could be like when a baby first starts nursing, right? There's that knowing, there's a rooting that the baby does with the mother. You instinctively know there's nourishment, and the baby turns and the mother connects, and there's that partnership, right? I have what you need, let me nourish you. The earth holds us in that same way, right? I know what you need. I create food, I create water, I oxidize the air so that you can breathe. Like there is an innate knowing of the earth, of what we need. So allow your feet to just be the connection, the portal through which you receive that nourishment. Yeah, you can just imagine the roots start to go down. We'll do bigger numbers today. Let's say you go down 100 feet into the earth with your roots. You can just take your time. You can feel the roots just like when a baby nuzzles, right? Sometimes they hook right on, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're just wanting to be held. They just want to snuggle and smell, the scent of being with a mom. They want to feel safe and held. So imagine your roots are hooking you in that same way. And the secret, I think, the power in the rooting is through visualizing. So actually picture your feet with roots and then picture the roots as they go down. And I track by numbers. So I feel when the roots are 10 feet down. I feel it. I visualize it. I see the number 10 underneath the earth. And then I see the roots going deeper and I see the next number, 20. Right? And as I do that, there's a matching tug or pull in my belly, in my stomach that says we're going down, we're being supported, we're held. So visualize down to 30. And at any point you can see those roots grow side roots that go off to the side and stretch out. And so suddenly your roots from your feet become webs, right? Big networks, safety nets underneath the earth that keep you grounded. Picture yourself 40, going down to 40, and down to 50. And you should feel the tug in your physical body as you're allowing yourself to energetically visualize depth, connection, support from the earth. All right, go all the way down, 50 feet underneath the surface of the earth. It might feel like it's a ton, but I'm telling you, it's 4,000 miles to the center. 50 feet is not very deep. There's a long way to go still. We're just going to go to 100. So go ahead and drop the roots or invite the roots to go deeper to 60. And then spreading out 60 feet in all directions around you. There you go. Good. If it feels intense, use your breath. You're a human, right? You can breathe through it. Go down to 60. I think we did 50. 60 feet. 70 feet. 80 feet down. Manage your energy. And then out in all directions. 80 feet out in all directions. And why would we do this, right? We do this because our energy tends to stay in our minds. It's up, it's high. Rooting allows, just like breath, our energy to go low, to ground, to connect, to be supported, to be held. It brings us all the way into this human experience instead of keeping us up in the mind. It also allows us to feel that we're all connected. When everyone is walking on this planet Earth and everyone starts to root in, at some point, all of these millions of roots are going to start connecting underneath. Right? We're lower to the center of gravity. Go down to 90 feet with your roots if you want. And then all the way down, 100 feet down into the earth. And imagine, right, as your roots are 100 feet down and they start to go 100 feet wide, I'm bumping into everybody in this room. So our roots are all interconnected and overlapping, and then suddenly you're supported by other people. Right? Not just by the earth. And for me, I love trees. You know, when I visualize my roots going down and then going wide, I picture these oaks and cedars and sycamores and redwoods, you know, that have been on this planet for hundreds of years, longer than I've existed in this physical form. Those roots are so solid, they're not going anywhere. Wind, rain, it doesn't matter. And so my roots overlap and interweave with those trees. And then there's synthesis. What are the right words? I don't even have it. Synergy. I don't know. It's like love, power, connection. You know, like the movie Avatar. It's like everything becomes this one weaving. And it's simply by bringing your awareness to it. So connect back in with your breath. about anything that's come up in your physical body or your mind or your emotions as we're doing this, to just run down to your feet and then just overflow into the roots, and then you don't have to manage it from there, right? You just release it through your feet, and Mama Earth says, I got you, baby. Just hand it over. Good. We're actually going to take just a moment, so I'll just pause talking for a minute here and allow anything that is swirling in you to go down, and then just attention. It's just going to go through my feet and be handed over. I don't need to know what it is, but if it's ready to move in this moment, it's just going to move. And you can use your breath if you need to. Okay, good. And then let's connect to Source. So if you can imagine wherever you are, just allowing yourself to lean back to, and you may have to move if you don't have back support. Let yourself lean against a chair or a bed or a tree or wherever you are. Provide your physical body with a form of support that you tangibly can feel, and then allow that to be Source. Right? So much of this is visualization. It's taking something that is one perspective and shifting it slightly to a different perspective, and suddenly the entire energy changes. The emotions have a way to start moving differently. So for many of us, we believe we're doing it by ourselves, right? I've got this thing figured out. I know I can do it. I'm going this way. And we forget, this is my opinion, but we forget Source always has our back. You know, God, oneness, the universe. That's fun to say. The universe always has your back, right? Of course. The universe holds the earth. How could you not be supported when the universe literally is holding the earth in the center of it? So if you can allow your physical body a way to feel held by Source, it's an energetic realignment that happens inside of you, right? Oh, that's right. It's not just me against the world. It's me with Source at my back. So out of my way, people, right? Like, I'm going. It's full steam ahead because this is at my back. I was sitting outside yesterday meditating, and it's, you know, we're up high and there's this beautiful breeze that's blowing by the lake, and I had my eyes closed and I could just hear all these leaves and the waves, that like wind. Wind was tangible yesterday. It was a physical thing I could almost put my hand on, you know, and I was sitting there just feeling the magic of it, the beauty of this planet. You know, I was looking out and there's this shimmery light on the lake as the sun was starting to really pick up its heat. And you could see this, you almost had to close your eyes, it was so bright. And you could hear the water crashing on the rocks. You could hear the wind going through the trees. Like, it was just this most beautiful moment of energy and physical combining. And I pulled my journal out and I was just writing whatever thoughts, you know, were coming up. And one of the things I wrote was, Spirit is always talking. You know, if God or Source has a voice, it would be the wind. It would be the wind, and it whispers sometimes, right, with the trees and the leaves. And then sometimes, like 2 nights ago, there was a storm moving through, and we were laying in our bed, and you could hear it like whistling at the windows, and it was like, okay, Spirit is howling at the windows right now. The wind is always doing that somewhere, and It's our awareness that allows us to engage in a tangible way. So I just invite you to bring your awareness to how much support you are allowing Source to give you in this moment, in this day, in this week. Right? And maybe just let that sit right under your attention as you go through your week. Am I open to receiving the knowing that Source has my back, even when I get frustrated or even when it doesn't feel very tangible? Am I willing to step into a deeper trust of that? Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and take a breath. Let yourself shake off any energy if you have something that needs to move. And then get comfortable. We're just going to go right into our theme for this week. So I'm always curious, you know, on a Thursday or Friday, usually when I write the email, I'm like, oh yeah, no, we'll talk about it, I know. And then, you know, Saturday, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I know what I'm going to talk about. And then Sunday, I wake up, I'm like, oh God, what are we going to talk about? I don't know what we're going to talk about. And sometimes there's a thought right when I wake up, and sometimes it doesn't come through until I sit and meditate. And I woke up in the middle of the night last night. I'm like, we're going to talk about peaceful moments, because that was the title of my email Friday, and that's what it feels like. It's been this beautiful weekend with so many peaceful moments. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. And then I sat down to meditate, and almost immediately was like, whoa, like, we got to detox. We have to detox. Like, there is so much that has been shifting astrologically, and yeah, I'll start with that. So the month of September has had a couple eclipses, and this weekend was a lunar eclipse. I hope I get this right, but you can research if not. We also had a full moon in Pisces. Pisces is very much an emotional sign, right? Let me feel, let me go into the depths of the watery space. It's also a harvest moon, so it's like a culmination of a lot of things that have been birthed or created, or time has been spent tending a lot of ideas or projects perhaps, or relationships. And then you arrive at this full moon, and the full moon says, let's light it all up. Let me show you everything you might not have wanted to look at before. We will illuminate it all, right? And this moon was so bright. All of us were noticing that. We're like, it is literally like going to a stadium. There's so much light. And then add to that, Jupiter has moved into the sun sign. Again, I hope I'm saying all these properly. But that is a shift that I think has been a year and a half since it last happened. Well, since it moved into the Virgo sign, it's been in for a year and a half, which has been intense, right? Intense time of looking at your stuff and getting clear on who you are and what you're doing and what life's about. And it's been a really intense year and a half with Jupiter in that sign. And now with Jupiter moving into the sun in Libra, again, you have to check. But it's about allowing and more grace, less striving, more pleasure and a sense of ease. But when you go from one to another, there's a transition period. And the planets reflect it, that our bodies feel it, our emotions, our soul feels it. And to me, when there's that much shifting at once, sometimes we get thrown off, in our chakras, in our energy system, and things that seemed clear and easy and aligned before start to feel out of whack or unclear or unsettled. And it hits different people and different chakras depending on what's happening for you. So what I thought would be helpful for today is to just kind of walk through a process of balancing our chakras from the crown all the way down through the roots, almost like a plunging, right? From the top to the bottom, we'll just kind of plunge out anything that is feeling sticky or tight or blocked, and get a clear flow of energy that goes from the head all the way down through to the root and then connecting into the earth. The other thing that I want to bring your awareness to before we start is, the combination of the sun and the moon. Sun typically represents the strength, the masculine, the power, right? Where moon is perhaps more the feminine, the shadow, the holding, the receiving, not so much the doing. And with so much of that happening in just a few days, I feel like there's an invitation also to balance the masculine and feminine within each chakra. So it's a lot to try to do in just a little amount of time, so it may be something you come back to on your own, and you can certainly re-listen to this or take this idea and apply it in your own meditation time. But I think a visual that will help is picturing light, light coming in through the crown, and we'll just visualize the light moving all the way through, and I'll guide you through it. But if you can visualize bright sunlight, and let that represent the masculine, and then the bright but softer moonlight, and let it represent the feminine. So we'll just fill our bodies with light, but it'll be this beautiful balancing of sun and moon, right? And they may swirl and twirl and dance through each chakra. You may prefer to have them be clearly like the sun is on the right for the masculine and the moon is on the left for the feminine, and I can see clearly where the line is between the two, and they're right up side by side. It doesn't make any difference. Whatever feels right to you is perfect. So perhaps go ahead and get yourself comfortable where you're sitting up straight. And we're just going to start. So if you can picture your crown chakra, it's maybe a couple inches above the top of your physical head. So what might be fun is to picture yourself standing outside with your feet in the grass. You can even put your hands up in the air, like if you're doing a sun salutation yoga move, right? And then just visualize, because you bring your awareness to this, there's the moon. Straight up in the sky above you. It can be just like it was last night or the night before. And you can just invite her, because it's your physical body, right, that energy is going to flow into, so no one can force you to do this, or the moon can't push light into you. It's your choice. And so you can just visualize, what if I open up the top of my crown, and I know the only thing coming in this moment is going to be moonlight. And all we're focusing on is the crown chakra, so it's, let's just say, a couple inches above your head in a circle base at the top of your head, and you're going to bring moonlight in. And it's just going to come through, and it's going to rinse out. It's going to run like water or light through the top of your crown. It can swirl, and you can picture a little hole or drain that'll send it down. You don't need to know where it's going in this moment. You're just rinsing the crown. That's the only thing you're focusing on. Rinse the crown with moonlight. Oh, isn't that amazing? Rinse your crown chakra with moonlight. Like, what? What a beautiful visual. Yeah. So clear out anything in your crown chakra that has said anything, right? Like, I don't believe in source. I don't think God has my back. I don't think the world is safe. I don't think, the universe exists. Whatever it is. What if you could just try for the rest of the meditation to run along with this as we play, and then you can always put all the old stories back in if you want later. So for now, just visualize moonlight coming in, dancing and singing and playing through my crown chakra. And then, just like that, it can rinse out anything that needs to move and send it down. Yeah, so you might feel a tiny bit of a headache if you aren't used to this feeling. So let's balance it with some sunlight. So if you can picture the sun above your head, the moon is about being, the sun is about doing. So allow the sunshine to come in and perhaps balance out all of that feeling, that stillness with a little activity, right? So the sun brings in warmth. It brings in a steadiness. It gives you the energy to do. to take action. So it doesn't mean you have to create a to-do list. It just means there's a balancing that happens in the crown chakra, right? Of masculine and feminine, being and doing. And when they balance, they just get steady. There isn't they don't have to race forward or backwards or fix anything. They just balance, and then like a fulcrum point, the balance just creates stillness, steadiness. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Okay, so go ahead and just allow your crown chakra to feel whatever that is. And then let that be a new set point for the rest of the call for the crown chakra. And then imagine the light can just go through the crown chakra and it's going to go into the third eye. So the third eye is going to be from your hairline all the way down through to me it's like right under your nose. You know, it's like the whole top part of your head. It includes your ears, right? It's kind of that whole area there. So imagine that we'll alternate. We'll have the sun come first. So the sun's going to come all the way through the crown chakra, which is steady and balanced. And it's going to come fill up and rinse out the third eye. So anything that is judging, evaluating, protecting, criticizing, whatever it is that's happening in the third eye, imagine you can just rinse all of that out with sunlight, just for you. Don't even need to know what it is. It can just start to run all the way down to the rest of your body. And then feel the warmth as the third eye gets filled up with sunlight. Yeah, what I hear is the word knowing. I know. Right? A lot of times with the third eye we doubt. We're like, I think I see something. Nope, I definitely don't see something. No, I thought I saw that. I thought I understood that. I knew that was going to happen. Why didn't I trust myself? Right? We have all these flashes of intuition. And then we start to judge them. We're like, oh, no. And then the thing happens, and we're like, man, why didn't I write that story? Or why didn't I buy that stock? Or why didn't I date that girl? Or whatever it is, right? Like, I knew that was the right choice, and I didn't listen to myself. When you rinse out the story with sunlight and you just run the junk out, feel the certainty of knowing in your third eye. Yeah, it's like it wipes out all the words, doesn't it? It just takes them all away, and it's like, yeah, it's good. It's really good. Use your breath to send things down that are ready to move. And then go ahead and invite in the moonlight. So imagine the moon can come in, and she can dance and weave with the sunlight through your third eye. And she can calm and soothe the places that have felt judged or shamed or less than because you didn't trust yourself. And imagine you just rinse all of that out. And then all that's left is just this beautiful balance, this flow back and forth of being and doing, seeing and knowing. And above all, trusting that it's perfect. Yeah, so we're going to bring more light in. We're going to come down into the throat chakra. And the throat chakra is from right above your lips all the way down to above your breastbone, your rib cage, right? So we're not going down to the heart yet, but it's that huge area that encompasses the mouth, the throat, the shoulders. So we're going to bring in the feminine. We're going to bring in the moon and allow the moonlight to come through the steady crown, the steady third eye. So it's in your body. It's not outside of you. It's coming down and through. Yeah, when it gets to the throat, you might have to cough or burp or yawn, right? Just give the energy a way to flow. For me, it's usually yawning. If it feels tight in this moment, like, oh, I don't even know if I could swallow, or like I feel the words are kind of trapped in my throat, just fake a yawn and start yawning, and the energy will release itself. But what you can do is visualize the moonlight coming in. And moonlight, feminine, those are soft words, right? Those are loving words. Those are a mother who whispers to a child that's scared in the dark, right? It's safe. It's okay to be here. You're all right. We can hear you. Everything is good. So you just imagine that moonlight moving through the throat chakra and just rinsing out old stories, old beliefs. I really felt the full moon, the lunar eclipse in my throat this weekend. Like it just, I don't know if I have words beyond that. It's just, I could feel the pressure of the change in my throat area. And so I can just imagine, stretching my throat up and the moonbeams hitting the outside of the throat on the skin, and then the moonlight coming through the inside and rinsing the inside of the throat. So many of us have all these ideas and gifts that we are here to share with the world, and the throat is the vehicle through which it's shared. And it can be terrifying to say, I have this unique idea or belief that nobody might agree with, but God, it's my truth, right? I know it. I know it. I know it in my gut. I know it in my soul. And yet my throat has to be the vehicle through which it gets expressed to the world. And for many of us, when we've tried to do that, we get told no or we get laughed at, and so the throat starts to shut down. And what I feel in this moment is the moonlight is so inviting. It's sacred. It's mothering, right? It's like when I sat in my daughter's first little performance that they did when they were in 5th grade. They were graduating from this little ceremony, and she was singing a song about writing a letter home from camp. It was the cutest damn thing I've ever seen. And she had a little solo, and, she had this little baby voice, and she was just, belting it out and so proud and didn't care, like the pride of a mama, that's my child, and she's amazing. If you can imagine the moonbeam has that depth of love, yes, express your voice, because what you have to say is a gift we are all waiting for. It is magic about to happen. And then you can visualize the sunlight comes pouring in right alongside the moonbeam. The sun's like, get out in the open. Get out there and tell the world, right? It's time. Here's the action. And so there's this dance of being and doing through your throat. Right? It says, I know it's scary to express yourself, to be in truth, and also that's why you came. So feel it and do it. Right? I feel like there's more quiet balance in the crown and the third eye, and then as we get to the throat, it's like there's a little bit more perhaps emphasis on the sun that I'm feeling right now than on the moon. It's like the moon is holding the space, and the sun is like, yes, do it, say it, be it, express it. So visualizing your throat, if there is toxic energy that's ready to move down and out, just move it. Just visualize it going. Right? You can hold on, or you could just release. Just move it down and through. All right, throat chakra. Let's go to the heart. Let's go to the heart. Let's go to the heart of it all. All right, and these, perhaps we do them together. Perhaps you visualize the moon and the sun swirling, dancing together, like a really beautiful spiral, coming all the way down through the crown, the third eye, the throat, and right into the heart. Some may see it as a piercing, right? Like it's going to stab me in the heart. Oh, or you could say, oh, it's a cocoon. It's this beautiful yellow and white swirl of light and energy and love. And it comes in and it just cocoons around my heart. And it clears out of the heart chakra anything that is ready to be released. So old stories, old pain, places where we weren't seen or heard or loved. Right? The full moon this weekend is about illumination, looking at yourself, looking at your stuck places, looking at your relationships, looking at the way you show up in the world and doing it with love. So, just take a minute, just allow the sun and the moon together, the light, to shine on your heart in a balanced way so that you can see what is ready to be seen in this space. Yeah, so for many of us, some of the old stories feel yucky and painful, and maybe you need to go into them, but maybe not. Maybe you could just say, oh yeah, that stuck thing that looks like a big pile of poop in the middle of my heart, like I really don't think I want it there anymore, so since we're detoxing, I'm just going to send the poop down into my root and out, right? It doesn't need to stay in my heart anymore, right? Maybe it looks like some coffee beans, or it looks like old dry decaying leaves from a tree, or whatever. It's stuck energy. Just let it move, let it release. You can imagine when the moon shines down, this is funny, but when the moon shines down on poop on the ground, she doesn't stop shining. She's just like, yeah, there's poop right there, and so maybe it moves, right? So you can just visualize that in your body. Like, I don't need to hold on to stuck stories. If you've carried them for your whole life, aren't you tired of carrying them? Like, just move the energy. So sometimes that means you yawn, you burp, you stretch, you wiggle, right? You just shake until the energy starts to move a little bit, and then it's like, whoo, right? It just goes. It just moves. And the sunlight can be that action, right? That's funny. Sunlight on poop is going to dry it and decay it, and eventually it's going to go away anyway. That's so gross, but it's so funny. All right, so you can just visualize the sun and the moonlight together are going to take any stuck places in your heart. They're going to bring in some humor, some lightness, and they're going to say you can just move it. You can just release it. You don't have to hold that story anymore. And then imagine that the light from the sun and the moon can expand in your heart, so it gets bigger, right? When I was staring at the moon last night, I'm like, wow, that one little ball in the sky is putting out enough light to light up an entire planet, like as bright as a stadium. You could see everything in the light. So if you picture the full strength, the full power of moonlight, the full power of sunlight, the way it was shimmering on the water yesterday where I could hardly see looking at it. If you imagine both of those bright strengths, bright lights inside your heart space, allow your heart to get a little bit wider if you want. Right? You move the gunk out, you detox, and then you fill up. You fill up with the light. Balanced masculine and feminine. You and you. Slow and steady. Yeah, and then from that place of being filled up in the heart, of overflowing with love for yourself and for everyone around you, everyone you engage with, imagine you can allow the light, so through your body, the sun and the moonlight coming all the way through the crown, the third eye, through the throat, down through the heart, and then coming into the solar plexus, the third chakra, which is right under your rib cage all the way down to about your belly button, just a little below. You may feel nausea if, you may feel nausea because it's connected to the digestive organs. So as light comes in, if you have stuff that needs to be detoxed, do that first. So we'll use the sunlight first, perhaps. So imagine the sunshine, the sunlight can come into that third chakra and move, clear out any old stories, any stuck places. The solar plexus is all about I am here. I am me. I am a gift. I am wise. I have so much to share. I am. And if we're not clear yet on what that is in this life, for many of us, we've filled up our I am center with he is, or she is, or they are. Right? And it's not wrong. We're just trying to figure out, trying on different personas or gifts or skills. And as we try those things on, often we'll find the thing that sparks, yes, I am for sure that. Right? And so then we can clear out some of the things that we're not and stretch out some of the things that we know we now are. And then we try on other things that other people do or say or feel or express. And we're like, nope, not that, not that. Oh, there's another one. I am for sure that. And slowly as we fill up this I am center with pieces that perhaps we found through other people, there's this gelling that starts to happen inside that's like, I'm also this and nobody else has that. And I'm also this and I haven't seen that in anyone else yet. And so the I am gets much more centralized, much more individual, much more unique to our own soul. But sometimes it comes through identifying via other teachers or people what some of those things are that we know we could be or want to become. It's like guides, right? These things guide us and little pieces start to get formed, and then suddenly there's a knowing of I'm now on my path and it looks like this. So when you bring the sunlight into this I am center, I'm not saying get rid of everything that's in there, right? But if there are some things you know you're not, or things you're holding that perhaps are other people's that have kept you steady for a while, and now you're pretty clear with this full moon illumination that you're not those things, let the sunlight move that stuff out. Yep, you can use your breath and just breathe it out of your third solar plexus. Yeah, God, I'm glad I'm not that, right? And sometimes I see other people doing things and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm so glad that's not me and I'm not that thing because I really don't like that thing, quality, skill, or whatever it is, right? So through contrast, we figure out what we're not, which then tells us what we are. So none of it's wrong, none of it's bad. It's just always this puzzle where we're going, is this me or isn't this me? So bring in the being, the moonlight, all the way from the crown, straight through the whole chakra system, down to your third chakra. And as the moonlight comes in with the sunlight, let them balance in your solar plexus. Because we're all both. We're all masculine and feminine. We're all feeling and doing. We're all soft and gentle and fierce and passionate. We're all of those things. So let the light just clear out anything that's ready to move in your solar plexus and press it down, which might be putting pressure on your bladder. Hang in there. We're going to be done in a little bit. Go ahead and send all of that energy down and through into the second chakra, and then find a steady balance for the third chakra, a nice, clear balance, a dance of masculine and feminine, and I am. All right, into the second. So invite that energy to just keep moving, sunlight and moonlight. You can bring them both together into the second. This is receiving relationships, this beautiful connection between individual and community. right? Between pushing out and receiving in. So it goes from right under your belly button to right above, like your hip bones, pelvic area. So imagine as the light comes in, you can just move out any resistance that's ready to go in this moment. These tend to move faster, I think, because they're also closer to the earth and lower, and they're more fundamental. I don't know if that's the right word. But as you go down into the second chakra, this is, it's about allowing and trusting versus pulling or grabbing, right? It's being so certain that the light is going to come all the way down and through from the crown into the second, that you just trust. You just trust. So see if you can use your breath and push out anything that's ready to go that says, I'm not worthy of being in a relationship, or I'm not worthy of receiving, or it's safer for me to give instead of receive. A lot of that's old story. That's old story. So you can just imagine breathing it out. And then feeling the masculine and the feminine energy dancing, just like when two people make love, there is a partnership between both, right? There is a balance. In a beautiful union, there is a balance. There's not one that takes more than the other. So you can just rinse out the second chakra and fill it up with light. And then go right into the root chakra. Yeah, I know we're moving faster. We'll make sure we get this in. And you can always come back to this. So as you feel the sun and the moonlight that have come through the crown chakra, they're still up above, sending light down and through. Come through the crown, come through the third eye. That light and love has come all the way down through the throat chakra, expanded the heart space. Come all the way through the third chakra, rinsed through the second. And now allow your root chakra, your center of security and safety, your pelvic bones all the way through to your organs that release into the earth. And feel the balance of masculine and feminine energy in the root. Whether you're masculine or feminine doesn't matter. You are both energies, both sunlight and moonlight. This balance of being and doing. So feel all the way in your root chakra if you have stories that you are only supposed to play one role, right? If you're the feminine, you're only supposed to stay home and cook and clean and do the holding, the receiving. If you're the masculine, you're supposed to go out and be and do and, whatever the beliefs are. Imagine you can just rinse through the root chakra and feel as you release energy, right? Your choice, release energy. And you may feel your legs shake a little as energy moves out. Imagine that you can start with the feminine moonlight filling up the left half of your root chakra. So the left pelvic bone, hip bone area all the way through to the tops of your thighs, perhaps. Feel moonlight coming in and filling that up. Rinsing out any story or junk. Let that get steady. And then feel the sunlight come in. And it comes into the right half of your pelvic bone and it rinses out the old stories. Clearing out all the sexual organs. Left side, right side. Moonlight, sunlight. Being and doing. And then you can just invite, almost like you take the lever out of the middle that has them separate. And you can see the swirl as the two start to combine. And you might feel this physically in your body, right? You can feel the swirl as the feminine and the masculine begin to dance and weave together in your root chakra. It might put pressure on you where you feel like, okay, I've got to release energy down my legs. Good. Old story. Move it out. And then just feel sunlight and moonlight filling up that whole root chakra for you. Expanding the security, the safety of your journey in this lifetime. No limitations. right? No limitations. Yeah, and then I want you to imagine the sunlight and the moonlight now. Feel the bottom of the root chakra. Hold the energy in. Hold the energy in so you can feel the power of every chakra in your body filled up, balanced, flowing with sunlight and moonlight. And then imagine you can have some sunlight and moonlight run down each of your legs through the rooting system that you've set up to the earth. You can just visualize energy moving through your legs, both at the same time, all the way down to your feet, and then hooking in through the roots and connecting down into the earth so that you're balanced and held and supported. And then you just relax your body. All right, we are just a minute over, but I wanted to make sure to take you all the way through. You might need to just sit and calibrate your body for a few minutes. I wouldn't recommend jumping up and running around. Like, give yourself just a minute to integrate and feel the steadiness of it. I would also invite you in your meditation time over this week just to check in with yourself and feel the balance of the masculine and the feminine and the doing and the being. And just notice if things start to get blocked, which chakra gets blocked first for you, right? And bring your awareness to that in your meditation time. And so you can use this as a set point or a baseline as you navigate through what I am counting on being easier times ahead with more sunshine coming in. So much love to each of you. Have an amazing day.